Are we live? Looks like we're live, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. Everything's looking good on my end. I think we're good. Let me double check here. Looks like we got everything up and rolling the way it's supposed to be. See, I got, excuse me, I got two different live streams going on right now. I got the shorts version going on, and then I got the horizontal version going on. So there's two different ways that I'm streaming on YouTube with this here. And I think we're good to go. Yes. We are all set, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. For anyone that stops by and checks out this live stream, either now during this actual live stream event or sometime after the fact, just so you know, I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for doing so. And excuse me, this is our second live stream that we have ever done on this channel. This channel is still fairly new. I've only got a handful of videos on this channel. I think maybe 25 or so videos that we've done so far total. And I think that's including the live stream. And we're doing all right. We're doing all right. 65 subscribers over here on the YouTube. All of you that have subscribed to the channel, just so you know, I appreciate you. Thank you for doing that. Yes. Well, as you can see, the title of the live stream, the title of today's festivities, if you will. We're going to be talking about the, chit-chatting a little bit about the fraud that is happening over in Minnesota, which is starting to now just gain a lot of attention over there, because it's been going on for several years, and it's just now starting to blow up from a YouTube video that went viral from an individual who did his own independent journalist investigation on the daycare scams, if you will, too, as well, that have been going on in Minnesota. And it is quite terrifying. And if you're a taxpayer and you live in Minnesota, you are probably not happy right now. You are not happy with Tim Walz. You are not happy with the outcome of what's happening right now, because it seems like every day that goes by, something new pops up about the craziness behind all that fraud that's happening in Minnesota. And if I'm a Minnesota taxpayer, I'm pissed. I am mad, ladies and gentlemen. I am mad. I am not sitting down and taking it lightly if I am a taxpayer in Minnesota. I'm just not. I'm just not. And if somebody that lives in Minnesota says they're okay with this happening, I question your mentality on a lot of different things, because this should piss you off. This should piss you off dramatically, and just and infuriate you that something so chaotic and crazy can happen in 2025. Well, almost 2026 now, and the sheer quote unquote, I'll say it anyway, the sheer fuckery that's happening in Minnesota it's alarming, and it should infuriate you. I know it does me. I don't even live there, but just hearing the details about what's unfolding there is it's something to really pay attention to, because when you pay attention to what's happening there in Minnesota, you start to sit there and think to yourself, where else is this potentially happening at? Is this happening in my state? Is this happening in my neck of the woods? Is this something that I should really be looking at from my side of things? And it's more so surrounding the daycare, all these daycare centers that are, you know, I don't know the full details of what's happening. I'm getting bits and pieces of what's happening here and there. but it's looking like it's going to be billions of dollars worth of fraud that's unfolding with all this stuff. And it's insane. It is literally insane. I can't get over the fact of what I'm seeing there. I just can't. So that's why I named the stream the way I did today. And mind you, again, this is only our second live stream. Strange things happen. America. Yeah, America. That's right. Gotta give the party horn there. America. Yo, what's going on? Go Gaming, J4X. Hi, welcome. I appreciate you being here. Strange things happen. I love America. Same. I love America too. And I hate it when a lot of stuff like this happens and you hear about this, it just makes you upset, right? So yeah, I love America too. And mind you, when you think about America, you think about how lucky you are to be born in America. And I'm going to veer off topic a little bit. When I think about America, I think about winning the lottery and the lottery of being born in this country, because you did. If you were born in America, you won the lottery, and that lottery is freedom. The freedom to come and go about your day whenever you want, to say whatever you want, to have your own thoughts, to be able to just travel freely throughout this country with, you know, the freedom that you have, your God-given right as an American. You won the lottery. You can't do a lot of things in this country, like me sitting behind this microphone, talking right, the way I talk. If you've seen my videos, previous videos talking about different subjects and things, that would not fly in other countries. I would be probably arrested and thrown in jail and sentenced to years of hard labor. Jitnam 503 just served 10 years in Iraq, brother. Well, hell yes, man. That's awesome. What branch of military were you in? America, Robert. Yes. America. I like to say America. America. Were you Army, Navy, Marine Corps? Where'd you serve? I'm dying to know. But yeah, every time I think about America, I just think about how lucky we are to be in this great nation. Because we would just, it wouldn't fly anywhere else. You know what I mean? And all these people who sit there and move out of this country and go live in other countries, like Rosie O'Donnell and all these other celebrities that claim they're going to move out of America and go live someplace else, they're going to come back. You're going to come back because you are not going to be used to the culture, to the way that people do things in other parts of the world. And you think that your freedoms are going to be their freedoms, and technically they're not. And you can't live the same way because you just can't. It's not America. It's someplace else with different rules, different regulations, different things. And you just can't do it. And people like Rosie O'Donnell that has TDS, like a severe case of TDS, when Donald Trump leaves office, she will be back. She will be back. Mark my words. Mark my words. I am red, made of string. That's a unique name. Wait, what political side are you on? I'm generally curious. I'm not trying to be rude or mean or make nasty debates or go after you. I'm generally trying to understand your views. I have a wide range of different views, and I don't hide behind my opinions about anything as far as like politics or entertainment or any of that stuff. I tend to lean more towards Republican, a conservative Republican. I've been that way for a long time. And a lot of the times, way back when I was younger, I leaned more towards Democrat. When I was younger, in my early 20s, I was all for Barack Obama. I was like, Barack Obama all the way. And my wife, she was the same way. She voted Democrat. Her family's it was Democrat. My family, once upon a time, were all Democrats. Voted for Barack Obama. Voted for Bill Clinton. Democrat for the longest time. And then when Barack Obama left office and Donald Trump came down those elevators, everything just changed in America. Everything just went south. It's amazing when you think about it, but that's a whole nother topic in itself. But my political views, I tend to lean more towards the Republican, but I can agree on what's happening on both sides to a certain extent. It's not always pro-Republican all the time. I am a conservative capitalist, though. I believe in lower taxes. I believe in freedom of speech, right to bear arms, Second Amendment, First Amendment, Second Amendment, Declaration of Independence, all that stuff, man. Pro-America shit, man. I'm all for it. So yeah, I would have to say I am a Republican through and through. I know that tends to be unpopular with some folks. USA, yes. USA, USA. Sorry, you gotta get it. USA. Yes. So yeah, nowadays it's if you say that you're a Republican, you are either going to be frowned upon or you're going to be praised. I think we are more divided as a country more than ever right now. And it's kind of sad when you think of it like that, but we are. We're very divided. But it feels like we're starting to kind of come together a little bit. And something, I read something a while back. I don't remember where I saw this from, but everybody remembers 9/11. If you're around in that time, everybody knows obviously about what happened that day and how horrific that was. When 9/11 happened, you could just imagine, like, if you can remember the specific details, it was like the most horrendous thing that this country's ever been through, right? Next to like World War I or World War II or something like that. 9/11 was like the most horrific thing in my time that happened within my lifetime. And I read someplace that if 9/11 was to happen today, would America still come together as one, like it did in 2001? And I think it might have been just somebody talking about it. It's driving me nuts. I don't remember where I saw this, but it ended up being that we probably would not unite as a nation like we did in 2001 and come together as a country in 2001. Like the country would still be divided, and people would blame America for being attacked. Like, it's America's fault. You know what would happen? It's Donald Trump's fault. At the end, just blame it on Trump. That's what it would come down to. Ultimately, it would be blamed on Donald Trump. Dawn's in the house. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Dawn is in the house. Yes. America, hell yes. Yes. So if 9/11 was to happen today, in my opinion, if it was as horrific as it was in 2001, would this nation come together and unite like it did? I don't think it would. It's sad to say. I don't think we would unite as a country like we did. I don't see it. I think it would be, we are so divided right now that I think people would, like I said, instead of coming together, they would start blaming other parties of whose fault it is. It's Donald Trump's fault. It's so-and-so's fault. It's such and such's fault for allowing this to happen. Like, the blame game would be at its highest levels. But it would ultimately be Donald Trump's fault for whatever reason. They always find a way to blame him for everything. And it's really sad. It's really sad. God forbid something like that happens again. You never know. And if it did, I mean, what would that look like? What would that look like? Who knows? But I think they would blame Donald Trump, and this country would not unite like we did in 2001. I don't think so. Remember when George W. went out there and threw the pitch? Y'all remember that? When he went out there at the Yankees game in New York City? I think it was like a week or two after 9/11, and the Yankees had a baseball game, and that stadium was packed, sold out crowd, and he went out there and he threw that first pitch. It was like probably the greatest pitch that any president has ever thrown, like for the longest time. Like you'll never see, I don't think you'll ever see a throw like that ever again. When George W. went out there and threw that first pitch, I mean, it was right down the middle. It was straight down, and it was a really, really good pitch. And I'm like, dude, he threw that baseball like he knew what he was doing. And at the time, I had no idea that George W. used to play baseball when he was a kid. So I'm like, that makes sense. That makes sense. So yeah, I mean, that whole thing was, I could talk about 9/11 stuff all day long, but that, I don't think anybody will ever forget that. And sad to say though, when you say never forget, I think this country did forget. I think they did forget to a certain extent. When the border was wide open under the Biden administration, and all those people started pouring through, you couldn't help but think to yourself, because we still don't know who's over here. The millions of people that came over here through the Mexican border and just through our borders, we have no clue who's in our country right now. We're trying to figure out who's here. We're trying to get out the people that don't need to be here. But I just kept thinking to myself, fuck, dude. I mean, if there's going to be another 9/11, it's going to come back to the days of the borders being wide open under the Biden administration. If there's some sort of an attack or some sort of terrorist attack on the United States of America, you can't help but to think that, how did these guys get here? How did this happen? You have to look at when the borders were wide open under the Biden administration. And there was a part of my mind that I was just sitting there thinking to myself, I'm like, dude, we have no clue who's chilling over here in this country, and who's getting visas, who's getting work permits, who's doing this, who's doing that, who's learning how to do all these things to use in a potential terrorist attack on this country because they came here. Like all these terrorists that came here that were on the most wanted list. I mean, those are the people that we knew that was over here that we found. How many other ones did we not find? That's the scary part when I think about it. Just not knowing who the fuck's over here. And all those people, I think it was Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden, on the Sean Ryan podcast recently, said that was the biggest mistake his father ever made as president, was allowing the border to be open like that. Like, he fucked up. Like, he messed up bad. Sleeper cells. Love from Nevada, Patriot, yes. For real. No trash in America. No name for you. Appreciate you both. Erica too as well. Erica Crawford. Appreciate y'all being here. Thank you. Yeah, it was an amazing, and not, when I say amazing, I'm not saying amazing as it was like, wow, this is awesome. It was just an amazing time in the most negative way possible to just sit there and watch all that crazy shit unfold at the border. I'm like, dude, we have no idea who's pouring across. And then you saw all those people just running across the border. He's running across. Nobody's trying to stop them. And the people that did, the border patrol that did try to stop them, that did try to do their jobs, got them so much backlash and so much hatred for doing their job. And Congress and people, Democrats and stuff like that, they just allowed that shit to happen, man. And it seemed like it was just, they were all for it. And I'm like, what is this? What are we turning into? Like, what is America going to look like in the next 10 years? If we continue to allow the borders to be open the way they were. That's why Donald Trump had to win the election. He had to win. He had to win. If Donald Trump didn't win this past election and it went to Kamala Harris, because she even said herself, nothing comes to mind of any changes that she would have made or that she would make that Biden's doing right now. What would you change? I think she was on The View and she was asked that question. And she said, nothing comes to mind. So you would have had the same shit if she would have became president. And God knows where we would have ended up. It's hard to say. It's hard to say. MAGA, there's still hope. Yes. There is still hope. There is. Yes. The MAGA mind. And just saying the term MAGA is so triggering to so many people. It's funny when you think about it. You say MAGA out loud to a Trump hater or to a liberal Democrat that is totally one-sided and is not open-minded to both sides of the aisle. You can't reason with people that hate that term, that hate Donald Trump, and people that support Donald Trump. And when you say MAGA, that is so triggering to so many people. It's hilarious that one man that can't stay in office for past 8 years has the ability to piss off so many people. It's amazing to think about it. It's just one person can just get under somebody's skin so much by what he says. It's mind-boggling to me that people allow him to live rent-free in their heads, because he does. Imagine being the president with winning a hold on, let me read that again. Imagine being the president with winning a primary. Oh, without winning a primary? Being a Democratic nominee without winning a primary is triggering to me. They can pound sand. A president with hot flashes is rigorous. Is Donald Trump having hot flashes right now? Listen, guys. He just has the ability to he has a way of getting under people's skin if you let it, and people just let it. They let it so much. I don't understand it. I really don't. Like, for me, I thought Barack Obama was a good president. I admired how Barack Obama was able to carry himself with his words. He's very articulate with the way he would speak and how he carried himself during like speeches, like his body language and how he just presented himself and spoke. I admired that. I thought he was a good president. And you know, my wife voted for him twice. Like, that's why I'm saying, like, I don't have a problem with Democrats. I really don't. Now I do, because I think a lot of them are, I don't know. A lot of them have a lot of fucking issues. You know what I mean? But I don't have a problem with somebody being a Democrat. What I have a problem with is when people tend to hate you for being a Trump supporter, and they don't care what your thought process is. They don't care what your opinion is. They don't want nothing to do with anything that has to do with you, period, about anything, because you're a Trump supporter. And then when they argue with you about that stuff, you can't reason with people that hate Donald Trump and Donald Trump supporters. A lot of the times I've seen that you can't. They don't want any part of that. They don't even want to try to reason with you. And that's sad. to a certain extent. You should be able to reason with people regardless of what their political beliefs are. So there's a lot of good Democrats out there. JFK. I thought JFK was a good president before he was assassinated. His brother, that was running for president at the time, that was assassinated. Bobby Kennedy. There's a lot of good Democratic presidents out there. It's just what that one time when Donald Trump, there was just people need to study this. When he came down those escalators, people lost their fucking minds. I thought for a minute there, I knew exactly where I was. We were buying furniture in a furniture store. Or we were buying appliances for our house that we got at the time. We were buying appliances. And when I went and I was watching the TV, like we were sitting at the counter, we were filling out paperwork or something. But I remember looking at the TV and I saw him coming down the escalators. So Donald Trump making an announcement or whatever it was. And I was like, what's he doing? What are all these people behind? Like, was he opening up another skyscraper or something? Like, what's he doing? And then when he said, I'm running for president of the United States, I thought for a minute there, I'm like, okay. It's like, no, you're not. You're not running for shit. You're not. There's no way. There's no way you're not. You're just, this is a publicity stunt. You're not running you're not running for anything. Stop it. What? Okay, you're kidding me, right? You're joking? I thought he was going to say, I'm kidding. I'm actually doing this or whatever. And I started to listen to him and I was like, you really running for president? You're really going to run for president? You're for real? And then when he was serious and then he started debating, I'm like, wow, he's actually making a lot of fucking sense. It's like Donald Trump of all people. It's crazy. Don't get me wrong. Donald Trump is not the most smoothest talker you'll ever see. He says a lot of stupid shit, man. Some of the shit he says, I'm like, dude, just be quiet. Don't talk. I'd rather you not say anything at all. Don't get me wrong. He says a lot of dumb shit, but he also says a lot of shit that I agree with. So that's why I continue to support him as president. Obama was a good talker. Kamala never won any primary. She was instilled. Kamala has the hot flashes. I thought you meant Donald Trump. I thought you meant Donald Trump has hot flashes. I'm like, well, maybe, who knows, right? But no, she's gonna run again. She's gonna run again. You watch. Democrats right now, a lot of them are insane. They are doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. Yes, that's what happens. The civility is gone. I don't negotiate with idiots or cast pearls amongst swine. It's hard to negotiate or talk with people that are Trump haters, man. It really is. And they said, watch him win. Yeah, that's what we said. We said, this guy's going to win. He started beating out a field of what, 21 or 24 candidates or whatever. One by one, they all started falling. Donald Trump started coming up in the polls. I'm like, we were sitting there talking. We were like, son of a bitch, he might actually win. And then it got down to him and Hillary Clinton. And I'm like, this guy's going to win the presidency of the United States. Donald J. Trump is going to be president of the United States. Anything's possible. Anything's possible. This guy's going to win. Anything's possible. And then, yeah. What a great night. Trump running for president, way better than the last three presidents. That you're witnessing history, Mad Rush. You are witnessing history. We'll never see this again. He is the most unfiltered president we've ever had. Period. Yeah. Was there 18 of them? I thought, yeah, it felt like there was like 24, but I almost said 18. I thought there was like 24. I can't remember. Everybody knows, like, when a sitting president can't run for another term, Like, this is going to be a crazy run for president this next go around. You're going to have Democrats coming out of the woodwork that you're sitting there going, yeah, fucking right, dude. Go back to your day job. There's no way you're going to win. And then you're going to have credible Democrats out there, whoever's left, being a credible Democrat. I can't even think of anybody off the top of my head right now. But then you're also going to have a lot of Republicans going against J.D. Vance. If J.D. Vance, which I'm pretty sure he's going to run, and he's probably going to be the nominee. Just throwing it out there. And it makes you wonder who's going to run on the Republican side. Then you're going to watch these guys go at it. They're going to fight each other tooth and nail. And Donald Trump is going to be front and center. Even though he's not running for president, he's going to be right there, front and center, throughout the whole entire process. It's going to be insane. But that whole fiasco in 2016, we didn't think Donald Trump was going to pull it off, but he did. And like I said, we thought it was a joke. We're like, there's no way this dude's going to win. You gotta be kidding me, right? You gotta be shitting me. But he won. He won 2 times in a row. I think that not 2 in a row. Sorry. Not back to back. He probably should have won the second time he ran. That's a whole nother topic in itself I could talk about too. But I think in my opinion, why he didn't win other than election fraud and all this other stuff that he was throwing out there. I think the main reason why I think Donald Trump lost the election is people were scared of COVID. And they thought Joe Biden is like the cure for COVID or something. I don't know. It was just really weird. I think COVID is one of the main reasons why Donald Trump didn't win the presidency going forward. And then America realized that they totally screwed up during the Biden administration, and they saw the direction America was going in. And then I think people were just like, we made a mistake. We made a terrible mistake. We need to put this guy back in office. And since he's been back, it's been better. It's been better. If we go backwards to 2020 through 2024, if we have another crazy run like that again, because that's the only time in my life where I was generally concerned about this country. I had no idea what direction we were going because it was looking like we were fucking doomed. It looked like we were going down the shithole quick. Like, even though the market was still stable, but not everybody's invested in the stock market. I just felt like the country was going in a direction where in the long term, we were never going to recover from because it was going in a bad way. Mr. Big Angry. Everyone thought he was a joke in 2014. A lot of them did. A lot of people thought Donald Trump was a laughingstock because everybody knew who Donald Trump was. He was an entertainer and a successful billionaire businessman, and everybody knew the type of person that he was. But the thing about it was, he wasn't hated like he was before he ran for president. I mean, he had friends on both sides of the aisle. He had Republican friends, Democratic friends. Everybody loved him. He had all sorts of friends from all over the place. And everybody loved Donald Trump. And I think Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, all those guys, all those people loved, I don't know if they loved Donald Trump, but they didn't hate him like they did today. And he I think even Donald Trump was a Democrat at once upon a time, and he's donated a lot of money to a lot of different causes on both sides of the aisle, and a lot of people praised him. I think a lot of people kissed his ass because he was a billionaire, and that was probably part of it. But it was just amazing to see the sudden change or exit from his friendship once he became Not even when he became president, just when he ran for president, everybody turned on him. He even said it himself. He's like, I used to have a lot of friends. I don't have a lot of friends anymore. I just don't. I don't have a lot of friends anymore. That's what he said. Welcome back. I am Red. But that was a crazy time. It was exciting. I don't think I can ever remember a presidential run besides Obama. That was like a big deal. The whole change thing that he had for his slogan. But when Donald Trump ran, that's when everything fell apart from the media side. Democrats lost their minds. It was craziness in a good way because it pissed a lot of people off, and you saw the true colors of what people really were, especially in the media, like CNN, MSNBC. We used to love watching CNN. We were huge into CNN. I think we watched CNN before Fox News. So we used to think CNN was a credible news network until Donald Trump came down the escalators, and then everybody lost their minds and started saying all this crazy shit. We're like, we got to go to Fox News. I can't watch CNN no more. And we haven't really been back on CNN since. Every once in a while, we'll turn it on CNN or MSNBC to see what kind of crazy shit they're talking about. And it's like, you guys haven't changed. You guys are still the same old bullshit network. In 2016, when Donald Trump ran for president and you lost your minds, you're still that same network. You're still the same old bullshit news network that you were in 2016. And it's sad because CNN used to be the one of the big news networks out there. Now they're straight garbage because they hate on Donald Trump all the time. MSNBC does the same thing. You know, and they have the potential of being a great news network if they can get the right CEO in there to say, hey, we're not doing this anymore. We're not going to bash on Donald Trump every 5 seconds. We're going to have people on here that are going to give their opinions and respect other people's opinions and not argue about it all the time. And then it just comes back to hating on Donald Trump every single time. They just cannot get away from this man. It's disgusting. Like, move on. There's other shit going on out there, like the fraud that's happening in Minnesota, which we're going to talk about right now. And I appreciate all you guys coming in and saying hello. Funny, a lot were Democrats too. A lot of his friends. Yeah. A lot of Donald Trump's friends were Democrats. Yeah. They like to talk shit about him. They won't know what to do when he's not in there anymore. They won't. They won't. People will not. That's the thing. Like, what are you going to do when this guy is out of office? What are you going to do? Because he's not going to be in there too much longer. Another 3 years and he's out. 3 years and this man will be gone. What are you going to do? There's nothing you're going to be able to do because you cannot sustain that type of mentality of hatred towards one person anymore. You're going to have to shift gears. What's The View going to do? But you know what's funny? Like The View, MSNBC, CNN, all these Trump hating networks, when he's out of office, they're going to be totally clueless. They're going to have to shift gears and figure out, what are we going to talk about? And if it's JD Vance that wins the presidency, all they're going to do is go back to Donald Trump. That's exactly what they're going to do, because JD Vance is probably going to mirror some of the stuff that Trump's doing, but he's going to do it his own way. But you can't help but to have Donald Trump in your mind and running this country the way Donald Trump did to a certain extent. And what's going to end up happening is they're going to look at that, how JD Vance, if he wins president, they're going to look at how he's running the country, and it's going to immediately reflect back on Donald Trump, and it's going to be Donald Trump's fault. So this motherfucker, Donald Trump's going to live in these people's minds rent free for probably the next 8 years. And then eventually, much later on down the road, you know, JD might win 2 terms. You never know. So we might still be hearing about Donald Trump after Donald Trump's out of office for the next 8 years. Anytime any Republican is going to be in the office that voted for Donald Trump or respected Donald Trump's policies or just, praised Donald Trump in any way, shape, or form. Let's just pretend it's not JD Vance. This is somebody else that's a Republican that brings Donald Trump up in some way, shape, or form. It's going to always come back to Donald Trump's fault. I think that's going to carry on after he's out of the White House for years to come. If it's a Republican that comes in and takes over, it's always going to be Donald Trump's fault. Always. They're never going to get past it. They're never going to get past it, unfortunately. It's sad when you think about it, though, man. It really is. It's sad. You're like, really? Come on, man. Like, just move on. Go outside. Go touch grass. Go hang out with your friends. Go someplace and reevaluate yourself. Maybe find God. Go read the Bible. And just forget about what Donald Trump is doing. And for most people, they can't do that. They have to know what Donald Trump's doing every single day because it just triggers them. One man just triggers people. It's insane. I can't get over that. That's just crazy to me. Because he's not going to be in office for the rest of his life, even though he jokes and he's like, well, yeah, I might run a third term. You never know. He's trolling you. And they fall for it every damn time. Every damn time. It's hilarious to me. And TDS is a real thing. And I think history is going to come back and look at that and say, you know what? TDS, Trump derangement syndrome, is real. And they might actually come out with medication for it. They're going to come out with medication for TDS. They're going to be like, are you suffering from Trump derangement syndrome? Are you blah, blah, blah? And then they're going to like throw some sort of drug at you. You may qualify for pending trials for so-and-so and talk to your doctor about Trump derangement syndrome and how you can qualify for the... That's what you're going to see. It is hilarious when you see these people, just let one guy ruin their lives. They need to study that. They need to study that. And he is the funniest president we've ever had. Yes. He is the funniest president I think this country's ever going to see. I think prior to a president being funny like that was Ronald Reagan. I think Ronald Reagan was the last president prior to Donald Trump that was funny. And like Obama had some funny skits at those, press dinners and stuff. And with one of the Key and Peele guys, I don't remember which one it was. That skit he had with one of those guys, Obama had one year. And I think George W. had a skit with Jeff Bridges. Sadly, Jeff Bridges, I think he passed away some years ago. But Jeff Bridges was pretending to be Bush, and it's like what he really wanted to say and think. And every time George W. would say something, Jeff Bridges that was dressed like him, it looked like him, would say what he's really thinking. And Obama had the same thing going on, I think, with his skit with, I think it was with Key. I think it's who it was. But yeah, you'll never see that again. This is it. This is it, guys. Donald Trump is the last president that you will ever see with this much craziness that and the negative press that this man gets from day in and day out. You're witnessing history. You really are. Whether it's good or bad, whatever you think it might be, you'll never see this again. It's kind of sad because he's very much for the people. He's doing everything for America. And a lot of other people think, nah, he just wanted to win. I think it was Howard Stern that said, nah, he just wanted to fucking win. He wanted to run. He probably didn't think he would win, but then he won. He just wanted to win. Why would somebody sacrifice a multi-billion-dollar organization making millions and billions of dollars per year. Why would somebody sacrifice that for $400,000 plus a year salary compared to his millions that he makes and go in to a cesspool of hatred that is Washington, D.C.? That's why they call it the swamp, because it was just shit, the sheer shit that surrounds Washington, D.C. politics. For somebody to give up their lavish lifestyle, go to Washington, be president, and just get the shit kicked out of you every day by the media and say all these horrible things about you. Why would somebody put themselves through that from a lavish, luxurious lifestyle to that? You must really care about this country. You love this country. You love the people. You love the fact that I can go in there and make a difference and change things for the good of this country. I think he's the only president that's ever been like that. I don't think you'll see that again. A president that is truly for the people. You'll never see it again. That's history right there, guys. You'll never see it. Cruising Wheels, he won 2020. I believe he did. I believe in my mind that he did. I think he did. A lot of people would disagree with me on that, and that's fine. That's the beauty part about living in this country. You can agree to disagree, or you can hate my ass for it. Either way, I respect your opinion, whether if it's right or wrong or just your opinion. I respect it. And I feel he won in 2020 as well. I think he did. And there was some stuff. Didn't Donald Trump say something the other day, or maybe it wasn't him, but he said something. Somebody said something the other day that, what state was it? Was it Georgia? That he was on the hot mic with, saying that he needed to find more votes. Was that Georgia? I think it was Georgia. He was trying to find like all those, like, several thousand votes or whatever it was. I can't remember. But it actually turned out that it's looking like he probably won that state. Is that what they said? I can't remember. But they were saying it's looking like that's the whole thing where he brought like voter fraud charges against him or whatever. Yeah, there was a bunch of shit going on that happened then. Yeah, there was. But yeah, they were talking about that the other day someplace, and it looked like that he probably won that state. I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. So I think he should have run. He won 2020. I believe that. I believe he did. And I think the people that voted for Biden were scared because of COVID. Donald Trump got COVID. He admitted to, yeah, I was pretty sick. And a lot of people were scared to death of COVID because they just didn't understand it. They didn't know how serious it was or what it was going to end up doing in the long run or whatever. And I think a lot of people, once they saw that Donald Trump was sick, like, well, shit, if the president of the United States is getting sick with the best healthcare in the world and he's catching COVID, like, you know, I think people got scared. I think they were spooked and they voted for Biden because they thought he was like going to be the savior in chief when it came to COVID. And that just wasn't the case at all. Yep. They just came out with that from Georgia. Yeah. I almost said Alabama, but yeah, it was Georgia. It was Georgia. And yeah, it's looking like he won that state. Crazy. It's crazy. They hate this man so much. Assassinated almost twice. And the whole bullshit about him getting hit in the ear, and they thought that was kind of sus as well when he got hit. Just, I mean, he barely got nipped, just enough to cause it to, because I don't know, has anybody ever nicked their nose or their ear? Has anybody ever had a broken nose? If you bust blood vessels in your nose, especially your ear, you bleed a lot. And your ear's got a bunch of blood vessels in them. So if you just nick your ear shaving. Like I have a bald head. If you haven't noticed, I have a bald head. So sometimes when I'm shaving, I'll accidentally graze the side of like the top of my ear sometimes because I'm kind of, you know, doing my thing. And sometimes I'll nick the side of my ear just enough to where, and then it'll start to kind of bleed a little bit. I've done that before and it would bleed. I'm like, shit, it's bleeding. It won't stop. Getting hit by a bullet and nicking the side of your ear, you're going to bleed. There's a lot of blood vessels in the ear. So you're going to bleed. And they were talking like was he really shot? I'm like, these people, Donald Trump should not. I mean, I think that spooked him quite a bit because if you remember a week or so after the fact, when he had the Republican convention, when he went there and people made fun of that bandage on his ear and everything. I'm like, you guys are something wrong with you. But he looked different. It's like he felt like when you looked at him, it looked like I'm like, did this change him? And did it change him in the right way or the wrong way? Is he going to change how he feels, how he thinks, what he's doing? No, it didn't. It didn't change anything about him. I think it just made him more of a public figure that is going to win the president. I was like, when he got shot and survived and he did the fight, I'm like, he's got it. I don't get, nope. He's got it. He won. It's done deal. He won. He's going to win. I think that was probably the worst thing that could have happened to him of being assassinated. Cause he could have, God, he was like this close to being shot and killed that day. That was probably the best thing that could have happened to him because it was good. It's bad that it happened. It should have never happened, but it was also, it helped him politically. And I think that incident catapulted him to the presidency because I think what that did is it pissed a lot of people off. It pissed me off. It pissed off his fan base. It pissed off people that were on the fence about it, that weren't really sure, independents at the time, that wasn't really sure what direction they were going to go in. Should I stay with Republicans? Should I vote Democrat? They weren't really sure, but I think that made the decision for most independents at the time to vote Republican because they're like, all right, nobody's life should be attempted like that. And I think a lot of independents came out and said, I'm voting for Donald Trump. So I think that catapulted him into the presidency. Oh, Yeshua. Well, thank you for the kind words. Yeah. When you say Yeshua, you're referring to Jesus, right? Blackberry bushes. It was an easy win. After that, I agree. It was. It really was. It brought the nation together. I think it brought a lot of people together for a short period of time. Yes, I agree. No wonder he said fight, fight, fight. The Secret Service were all over on if he was alone, it would have been a different story. If he was by himself someplace, I think it would have been a different outcome. Because he, in my opinion, yeah, I was like, this man should be dead. That man, he should have, because I mean, I don't know if anybody looked at the details of like how close he was to death that day, to almost having his life taken by that bullet that scathed his ear. And everybody knows he was turned and looking at the projector behind him or the TV screen behind him. And they said, I think somebody took a screenshot based on him turning this way when he was shot versus him looking straight. And they said, had he looked straight ahead and not at an angle and looked straight, then that bullet would have clipped the back of his head. I don't know. I think it was either on the lower part of his head, but it would have went straight through his brain. He would have died. It would have been it. And it's just a matter of timing that day. And he's right. Had I not been looking this way and instead looking straight, that was the difference between life and death right there. It's crazy when you think about it. And then he had that guy on his golf course that waited out for him for hours, that almost potentially would have taken. I think if nobody would have caught that guy, I can't remember that guy's name. I think, in my opinion, if that dude would not have been caught that day, because he was ready. He was ready. I think if Trump would have came over closer down to where that guy was sitting at his golf course, I think it would have been a different story. Potentially would have been, his life would have been taken potentially that day as well, had they not caught that guy. So I'm glad they caught him. But when did anybody ever have 2 assassination attempts on their lives? Ronald Reagan, I think, was the last major assassination. Prior to that, I think it was Bobby Kennedy and then JFK. And then obviously you had Abraham Lincoln and a few other people as well. But I think Ronald Reagan was the last president that we had that almost lost his life to an assassination attempt. And Donald Trump was millisecond, like millimeters. You know what I mean? It's crazy. But yeah, the Secret Service was all over it that day. That was a failed Secret Service protection for him that day. 100%. It was, it failed. 100%. That day was, as far as protecting, obviously he didn't have the protection like a president would if you're a sitting president, but he did have Secret Service, right? That was a failed attempt on Secret Service's part to protect him like they should have. And local police and whoever else was there that day. I think a lot of mistakes were made that caused him to almost lose his life. So that day was crazy. It was insane. Trump 2028. Trump 2028. Get the hats made. Let's go. What a crazy 10 years or so we've had, right? It's been nuts. Absolutely nuts. Well, everybody, let's go ahead and talk about what I was initially wanting to get into here today for the title of the stream. And that's all the crazy shit that's going on in Minnesota with the fraud that's happening right now. And I want to welcome everybody back to the channel that has came in and sat here through my crazy opinions on things. Just so you know, I do appreciate all you guys for stopping by and checking out the live stream. But again, welcome back to Officially IMO. I have this unofficially, excuse me. I said officially. I got to get that right. Don't say it. Like my brain wants to say official. It's not. It's unofficial. It's unofficially my opinion. That might not be very popular with people, but I don't care because it's my opinion. Respect it. Just respect it. We can agree to disagree. But I have this thing where I do read my own opening monologues for things, and I call those the IMO breakdown. That's what I'm going to start calling it going forward. It's my monologue that I typically want to start doing at the beginning of my videos or sometimes during my live streams as well, that I will read. I don't have a teleprompter in front of me like a newscaster or something like that. I'm just going to read it based on prepared marks, right? So that's what I'm going to do. And I call it the IMO breakdown. So we'll go ahead and get into that too as well. Leave Greenland alone. What does that mean? Isn't there a movie called Greenland? That's coming out. We saw the first one. Part 2 is coming out in theaters, I think, in the next week or two. With Gerard Butler. That was a good movie. If you haven't seen the first one, go watch it. It's pretty intense. All right, let's get into it, guys. Let's get into it. So welcome back to Unofficially IMO. Everybody knows that's me. And we're going to dive into, again, what I like to call the IMO breakdown, where we cut through the noise and get real about the stories that actually matter, rather if it's entertainment, politics, whatever's trending in the news, sports, you name it, we cover it. And we're going to turn the attention to a deeply troubling developments in Minnesota's daycare fraud scandals, a crisis that continues to unfold and demand accountability as we close out 2025. Recent reports confirmed that federal authorities, including the FBI and Homeland Security, have intensified their efforts, surging resources to dismantle fraud rings exploiting child care and nutrition programs. Billions of tax dollars are at stake, building on the infamous Feeding Our Future case that exposed widespread abuse. A disturbing viral video from Minneapolis has spotlighted dozens of questionable operations, leading to raids on more than 30 locations. Investigations by outlets like Fox 9 trace these schemes back to at least 2014, revealing a systematic exploitation where funds intended for vulnerable children are diverted through falsified claims and reimbursements. And it's not a laughing matter, because it is a pretty serious thing that's going on in Minnesota. It's a profound betrayal of public trust. These frauds disproportionately affected marginalized communities such as Somali American families in Minneapolis, raising serious concerns about potential profiling in the midst of a necessary enforcement. Resources meant to provide essential meals and care for children are being siphoned off, leaving real families to suffer the consequences while what is wrong with me? I'm having a hard time reading. Consequences while perpetrators profit, which that's what's happening right now. A lot of people are profiting by using taxpayer dollars to fund these programs, and there's no kids. There's no kids there. And in my opinion, unofficially, of course, we all know this, this highlights systemic failures that urgently require stronger oversight and reform. We're going to kind of get into that here tonight and talk a little bit about what's happening there and the craziness that surrounds all the fraud that's happening right there in Minnesota. Tim Walz is I think he's claiming that he had no idea that this was happening. I think that dude knew exactly what was happening in his state, and he didn't want to really do anything about it because he didn't want to be labeled as a racist or a xenophobe or whatever the fuck. I think he knew exactly what was happening and he did nothing about it. And now he's playing the stupid card. Well, we've been trying to combat fraud for years or whatever he's talking about. I think it's been happening for a long time. And it's just now resurfacing based on a video that has went viral. And it's all over YouTube. It's all over social media. And I think the video is about 42 minutes long. We won't necessarily watch the full video on this right now, but we'll look at some parts of it and just to kind of show you what's going on in Minneapolis. So let's get into it, guys. Let's get into it. I like to use X when looking for specific things because I think X has the most accurate information out there when it comes to what's happening in the news. That and Fox News and some other trusted news outlets about what's going on regarding this story. So I like to just use X because I feel like their resources of where they're gathering their information is pretty accurate. Tampon Tim. I think he knew what was happening, but he just didn't do anything about it. I think that's what's happening. Billions of dollars from Americans' pockets and hard-earned money. Yeah, taxpayer dollars. That's potentially being taken here and being used to go into pockets of people defrauding taxpayers. FBI raids Minneapolis daycares and childcare fraud probes. The raids targeted alleged multi-million-dollar scams in Minnesota's child care assistance program, sparked by videos from journalist Nick Shirley. So that's his name, Nick Shirley, showing no kids at sites like Quality Learning Center, which took in over $8 million despite 95 violations. FBI Director Kash Patel called it the tip of a large iceberg and surged resources while House Oversight Chairman James Comer expands inquiries into state officials. Governor Tim Walz dismissed the probes as scapegoating Somali communities as his office points to added oversight amid a history of fraud, including $100 million of annual estimate and $250 million feeding our future scan. We're live, folks. If I make a video, I like to go back and just kind of reread those things, retweet those things. Let me start that over. Governor Tim Walz dismissed the probes as scapegoating Somali communities as his office points to added oversight amid a history of fraud, including a $100 million annual estimate and a $250 million feeding our future scandal. That is absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. And a lot of people are calling for him to be impeached, to have Governor Walz to be impeached too as well. Yeah, and if I lived there, I'd be so pissed. Yeah, I think a lot of people are pissed off. That's their tax dollars that are going to these programs and being used fraudulently. My hard-earned dollars all going to someone who doesn't like me and my country. Fuck that. Yeah, that's why Minnesota is in a bad way right now. Minnesota sucks. I live here. Oh, you do? Okay. That state's definitely changing. It's changing in the wrong ways. It's going down all these wrong paths, and it's sad. Tim Walk will know where Nitro look for. Oh, I see. I think he knows where that money went. He knows, I think, in my opinion, he knows where that money's at. He knows what programs they're going to, and he knew it was happening. He just didn't want to do anything about it because he didn't want to be labeled as a racist. That's my opinion. Deport them all. I think a lot of Somalis did come across the border under the Biden administration. I think a lot of them did. I don't know. I have no idea how many actually probably did, but I think most of those people probably shouldn't be here. Elon Omar. And I think a lot of that needs to be looked into and investigated to see who's here and who's supposed to be here and who shouldn't be here. I think you can start in Minnesota. Let's start there. Spell check. Yeah, it's spell check is a bitch. Spell check is a pain. So let's take a look at Nick Shirley here.
This is what happens when they target communities for their own benefit.
Now, we're going to look at, this is a guy, Tim Walz is at a press conference here. We're going to take a look and see what Fox News is referring to with Mr. Shirley here, whose videos are going viral for him looking into this. I think he's an independent journalist.
This is what happens when they target communities for their own benefit. This is what happens when they scapegoat. And this is what happens when they no longer hide the idea of white supremacy.
Oh, there it is. There it is. What did I say? White supremacy. He didn't want to be labeled as a racist. So I think he let it go because he didn't want to be labeled as a racist. Right? That's my unofficial opinion on the matter. That he let it go long term because he didn't want to do jack shit about it because he didn't want to. This guy knew exactly. How would you not know what's going on in your state? You are in charge. Whatever happened to the buck stops with me kind of mentality. This guy, I think this guy's kind of a weasel. I think he knew exactly what was happening.
So it sounds to me, Nick, that Governor Tim Walz.
So Nick Shirley here is the guy. Again, I've said this before. I just want to repeat what I said, but he's the one that did the independent investigation. That's that video on YouTube that he put out there regarding all this stuff has literally went viral. So he's on Fox News talking about it.
So saying that you and others that are out there trying to expose this, you know, you're doing it because you're white supremacists. What is your response to him?
He's a white supremacist.
Yeah, Tim wants votes. There are entire apartment complexes where white people have been pushed out of these apartment complexes because Somalians have taken over, and they're inside of these towns like Minneapolis where they can go get votes from these people. And if you have 100,000 people that will vote for you because you're going to enable and let this stuff happen, and because you're going to call a white person racist for calling out facts, this is what's going to happen to a state like Minnesota.
You see, and it's sad because they use white supremacy for everything now. They did it during the Biden administration. Everybody was a white supremacist. If you disagreed with something, you didn't like people coming across the border, you were xenophobic, you were racist, you were all these things. And they used racism, and they still do to this day. And they use the word racist. I feel they use it so much anymore that it has no meaning to it like it once did. Because if somebody labeled you as a white supremacist or a racist, that was a very serious thing to say to somebody. And you better have proof that they were, right? To accuse somebody of being a white supremacist or a racist, that was a big deal. And over the course of 5 years, they have used that term so much that nobody gives a fuck anymore if you think they're racist. It's like, okay, whatever. And it used to have meaning behind it. It doesn't have that meaning like it once did, in my opinion.
But Minnesotans,
they wore it out.
Minnesota nice, but they are very upset. And I fully understand why they're upset, because they don't have a governor who's actually working for them. He's actually working against them.
That's what it feels like.
Nick, your video's been viewed 93 million times. What do you think will be the result?
I didn't know it was that many. 93 million people. At least 93 million times that his video has been shared on YouTube. For this one topic. He's blowing. He is the whistleblower in this whole entire thing. Big time.
To this. Do you think that
I wouldn't say whistleblower, but he's blowing the top off of it in a big way.
things will change because of bringing attention to this, or do you think it'll be much the same?
He's just doing his job as an independent journalist too. He's doing it. This is what he does. And I think if more independent journalists were kind of like this guy, I mean, we would probably live in a better country, exposing the fuckery that goes on, that a lot of people don't know what's going on. And this guy did it. He did it.
Same. Swap under the rug and keep moving forward.
Yeah, there better be change. People are demanding it. The investigations have been launched just from that video alone. And so there better be change, because like I said, we work way too hard to be paying taxes. We work way too hard to be not knowing where our money's going. And at the end of the day, people in the government, they work for us. We don't work for them. And so it's their responsibility to hold these people accountable. And so if there's not something that's happened, people are going to be very frustrated. And so if President Trump's watching this, it's time to really get down to nitty gritty and to make a difference in this place of Minnesota that is pretty much like Somaliland right now.
Yeah. And he's not lying about that. Minnesota has a lot of Somali people there. I'm not saying all of them are bad, because they're probably not, but you know that a lot of people are taking advantage of the system, and they're knowing that they know that they can get away with it, and they've done it for a long time. And now this individual is blowing the roof on what's actually really going on there. And now it's getting worldwide. It's getting national attention now for him just exposing everything. And you got guys like Elon Musk here that are posting a lot of stuff on his X account about what's happening there. And according to this, Somalis in Minnesota have been setting up fake medical centers and fraudulently diagnosing their children with autism to systemically steal billions of taxpayer dollars through Medicaid. Medicaid autism claims. In 2018, it was $3 million, according to this this post. And in 2023, it was $399 million. Wow. This was a retweet, or I keep seeing retweet. This is a repost by Elon Musk regarding this, regarding of what took place here. And here's the guy. There was a video of this guy going up and actually knocking on the doors of these places, and nobody is answering the door, or the door gets slammed shut in his face, saying, "I'm just here to drop my kid off. Where can I do that?" And then they just they shut the door in his face. Terrence Williams, and if anyone don't know who Terrence Williams is, he's a huge Trump fan, big Trump supporter. He posted this here saying, you should be mad. Every Republican in the office should be publicly calling for arrest and indictments. We pay taxes so politicians like Tim Walz and Somalia immigrants can steal it. If we don't pay taxes on time, we get fined, assets seized, and even thrown in prison. But when $18 billion in taxpayer money is stolen, it's shrugged off and sent to scams and corruption. Congress should issue subpoenas immediately and force answers. $18 billion in fraud is outrageous. Accountability is not optional. Is he wrong? I mean, is he wrong when he talks about that? I don't think he is. That's his opinion. Everybody should be looking at this with a fine-tooth comb and a microscope. Heads should roll. Heads should roll. I'm behind on the chat here. Everything is racist. Don't forget that. They will let you know they will let you know that every damn time. They will. They will. If they disagree with you, you're racist. Tim got kicked back, hall pass from the Democrats, and was totally in 100%. I think he knew about it for sure. There's no way that you're in charge of the entire state and you didn't know any of this was going on. It was too big to not know that. It was too big to not know. They always use that. Tuckery. Nick Shirley, a viral prophet. Yeah, he was a good, he did really well there. He really did. Just most Somalis. See, I don't know how overpopulated Minneapolis is right now with Somalis, or just within that vicinity. I have no idea. Am I saying all of them? Am I saying all of those people are bad? No, I'm not. But obviously, there's a few bad weeds here and there that are taking advantage of this, knowing that they're using it for fraud and knowing that they were able to get away with it for so long. It's terrible. They're taking over Fargo, North Dakota too. Damn. I haven't heard anywhere else where Somalis are at other than just Minneapolis area. The numbers are going up. I wouldn't doubt it. Ice baby. We'll get them like all Pokemon. Catch all the star. Okay. From South Park. That was a funny episode, by the way. The problem is, listen, it's not hating on Somalis, but I read someplace, I can't remember where other people are coming from other cultures of that part of the world. They come here, for example, Somalians come here from Somalia or wherever they're coming from, and they try to adopt that same culture in the United States, but we don't want it. We don't go to your country and demand that you adapt to my culture from the country that I came from. And I want you to change because I'm the immigrant coming here. You need to adapt to me. No, you don't adapt to me. Okay. I'm the immigrant. I'm the one coming into your country. I need to adapt to your culture and the way you live your lives and respect the way this country has been for hundreds, if not thousands of years. I respect the culture of wherever I'm going. You learn the language, you pay the taxes, you adapt, right? It feels like everyone that comes over here, it feels like everybody wants us to adapt to the way they live and the way they do things and the way they learn their language. Like the mayor of Minneapolis, he's speaking in Somalian, whatever that language is in Somalia. I'm pretty sure he's speaking that language. Like he's talking in Somalian. And I'm like, dude, you live in America. Speak English. You know what I mean? Like I that pisses me off right there. That pisses me off. I hate that. It's fine if you want to learn another language and speak that language. But when you're running for public office in America, we speak English. We speak English. Learn English. Learn the language. Respect our laws. And abide by the things that we have here, the laws that we have in place. But do not expect me to learn someone else's language that's coming over here from another country. I speak English. So I'm going to continue to speak English. Me personally, I want to learn a new language. I do. I want to learn a new language. But I just hate it when people are like, no, you should learn their language to learn. No, that's not how this works. You learn English. If I went to Japan and I want to live in Japan and be a citizen of amongst the Japanese people, I'm going to learn Japanese. And rightfully so. If I move to Mexico, I'm going to learn Spanish. If I move to Brazil, I'm going to learn Portuguese. If I move to China, for some strange reason, if you want to move to China, then you're going to learn the language. You're going to learn Chinese or Mandarin or wherever you want to live in this world. You better learn how to adapt and learn the language. If I go to Italy, I'm going to learn Italian. It only makes sense. So, no, that's not how this works. Okay. And I can't stand it when politicians speak in another language. And I know they're just regurgitating what they said in English. I get that. But it's just something something about it. I'm like, you don't have to do that. You can speak English. Okay. You can speak English. Don't speak another language like that. It's just something about it that I'm just like, ugh, why are you doing that? You know, and is that racist? No, it's just part of our culture. We speak English here, you know, and English is very well known amongst other countries all over the world. You go to famous travel destinations like in Mexico or Italy or someplace in Europe, Germany, you know, they have English there. English is a very well-known, worldwide known language. A lot of people learn English because America is the greatest country in this world. We're the best country in this world. We're the brokest country, but we're also the richest country. We're a very wealthy country, but our national debt says otherwise. We're trillions of dollars in debt, but we are very much a very well-known, very wealthy country that English is very popular amongst all over the world. So if you come here, learn the language. And I think that's part of what you have to, if I'm not mistaken, I think you have to learn English if you want to be a citizen here. I think you have to know the language, you know? So come on. But anyway, this is a very, very popular subject right now. It's going viral. A lot of people are pissed about it, and rightfully so. This Nick Shirley guy did us a favor on this, did very well. And I feel like he's like the whistleblower on the whole entire thing. He brought all the attention to it. And it's been going on for years, but he brought all the attention that needed to be brought regarding this here. So, yeah, Elon Musk, he's been posting a lot of stuff about it. Fox News is talking about it. It's everywhere. It is everywhere. So that's just something I wanted to talk about regarding the craziness that's happening right now. Let's see what Tim Walz has to say. This was 2 hours ago. That was posted by this individual here, Tim Walz.
I think for the not law. Look, it's not law-abiding citizens. If that were the case, there's a lot of white men should be holding a lot of white men accountable for the crimes that they have committed. Okay. I think for the community to maybe educate their population, because I think what you're seeing here is there's secondary victims in this, that there's providers inside the community that are then victimizing the community themselves by signing them up, because when we're going to some of these people, they're like, I had no idea I was in this program. So I think it's asking us then, you know, for every crime, which of course the majority being committed by white men, asking us to do more about that.
Oh, my goodness.
Crime in general. And I think the biggest thing on this is just making sure that we're educating the population. And again, this is 80 people or so that have been convicted in this, maybe some more in that out of a broader ring. Medicaid
Man, you might be the next one there, buddy.
fraud will stretch across all racial demographics, all ethnic groups. So I think it's really important for us to note
Please tell us what's important for us to know.
In their own midst, but to blame them and say that they should have been responsible for stopping it, I think that's a pretty hard reach. I think we continue to educate folks about why they shouldn't commit crimes. You hope that it's being taught both at home and at schools and in our society. But no, I think this idea.
I don't want to get into the statistics of who commits the most amount of crimes in this country. I don't have those numbers. I don't have that in front of me. But it sounds like he's blaming the white man
for
a lot of
Somali
stuff.
communities to blame for this because they didn't do more. I think that's how we got into this. And that's, again, I know we're not going to lose the whole plot here. All this work that's being done, Donald Trump brought this to the attention. Like this is something.
It just goes back to what I was saying earlier. I said this at the beginning of when we were talking about the presidency with TDS. It always comes back to Donald Trump in some way, shape, or fashion. Every single time. Even though he has nothing to do with it. Nothing whatsoever. He's not governor of your fucking state. You are. This was your job. But it's your job to know what's going on in your state. And especially when there's hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars of fraud that's just happening under your nose and you're claiming you knew nothing about it and you're trying to they always bring race into everything. It's so sad. It really is. It's sad. But again, you can't leave Donald Trump out of anything, can you? They always have to talk about it.
Brand new. This is not brand new and it's been being worked on, but he made it white hot and very dangerous.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Okay. Got it. I got it. Okay. Oh, this is crazy, y'all. This is crazy. Yeah, I just kind of wanted to chit chat about that today. And I feel like I knew this was going to happen. It always comes down to race. It always does. It comes down to either being, it's the white people's fault. It's the whites. It's white supremacy. It's this and that. And it always comes back to white people and Donald Trump. It's like nobody ever wants to take accountability for what's happening like in their world. You know what I mean? Like Tim Walz, it just feels like he's taking the blame and pushing it off as somebody else. And it's really sad. And he's just playing dumb about the whole entire thing. But for somebody to just they always bring race into everything. It's sad, man. It's sad. And it's always Donald Trump's fault. As you just saw, he brought Donald Trump into it, saying he made it white hot and all this other stuff. I'm like, dude, okay. So yeah, this whole thing is not going anywhere anytime soon. It's going to get worse. They're going to uncover more fraud. In my opinion, they're going to find more fraud, more screw ups. They're probably going to start looking into Tim Walz if they haven't already to kind of figure out, did he know about this? And if he did and he didn't report it sooner and he just kind of let it go for whatever reason, I mean, that's not good either. I mean, that's not looking good for him either. You know what I mean? It's just sad. It really is. So again, as a recording of this video that I'm doing for the YouTube channel, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below. Do you think Tim Walz knew about all the fraud that was going on in his state? Or do you think he's totally clueless and had no idea? Let me know your thought process in the comment section below. And also too, again, I do appreciate all you guys coming in here, saying hello, checking out the video. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, turn on all those notifications so you don't miss any time I go live or upload a video. And until next time, I appreciate all you guys. We'll see you on the next video. I'm out of here. Okay, so I'm not actually out of here at the moment. I'm just doing a process for my next video that I'm going to upload to the channel. I'm just doing a process. I'm recording a video during the live stream. Let's just say that. Oh, what do you guys think though? What do you guys think? Do you think Tim Walz knew about it? Do you think he's just trying to cover his own ass and put the blame on Donald Trump And it's always race. It's disgusting, dude. It's so disgusting. Of course he knew, 100%, absolutely. Tim Walz had to have known. He had to have known. Yeah, absolutely. He's pretty dumb. He may have not. That too. He may not have known because I don't think he knows. I think he's clueless sometimes. He just doesn't care to know. Per capita Walz is a moron. You could just dunk on the white man. Yeah, it's always white people's faults too. It always comes down to race. Bro, you should nuke submarines. China FBI was involved. What happened? Are you saying the FBI knew about it? It's the only way they know is to make excuses to deflect. Yeah, when they know about when they know that the heat is coming down on them, they always deflect and put the blame on somebody else. They always do. They always do. This guy's a major risk to our national security. I think he is a problem for the state of Minnesota. I think he's a bad politician. I think he needs to. I think he's trying. Is he trying to run for re-election? I think he's trying to run for re-election again. That's not good. I don't think he's going to win. Well, hold on a minute. I mean, the guy from Minneapolis, he won. What's his name? The mayor there? He just didn't he just win his re-election? I didn't think he would win again, but again, I could be wrong, but Tim Walz, if he's running for re-election again, I need to see if he is actually. If Tim Walz is running for re-election again, I don't know. This is pretty serious. He may not win. This is pretty bad. He may not win the next go. This one probably did him in. But you never know. I mean, you truly never know anymore. He 1000% knew. I think he did. He likes to play dumb. He does it very well. Yeah, he's good at deflecting and putting the blame on somebody else. That's what it seems like to me. Yeah, with his. You guys remember that when he was running for president with Kamala? He come out and like he was the dude's just he's something special, isn't he? He's something special. He's a pure criminal. I don't know. We don't know yet the specific detail. We know quite a bit, but I think there's a lot more to the story that I think he knows that if it continues to go down the path it's going down, that it's going to start exposing more bad shit that could potentially come back and bite him in the ass. And I think he's shitting his bridges a little bit today. I think he is. That's what he does. He does the whole hand gesture thing. Wasn't that they like to claim that Donald Trump was weird, but didn't y'all agree? Like when he came out there and he started doing like at the rallies with when he was running for vice president, he would constantly like do the hand gestures and he would like bow to people, and then he would always like put his hand out real weird to go to shake your hand. Like he would just like he was reaching for your junk or something, and he would just put his hand way down there, and you're like, dude, hey, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't reach that far down on me. Thank you. Stop being weird. Donald Trump is a clown. Hey, listen. Donald Trump has said some pretty dumb shit that made him look like a clown at times. But that's just the type of person he is. That's just who he is. I don't agree with everything that Donald Trump says. I think a lot of the shit that he says is it's just who he is, though. I mean, he's unfiltered, and I can respect that. When you think of First Amendment, you think of Donald Trump because he just says whatever the hell he wants. He really does. Lacero Jenko, new sub for you here. Hey, yo, I appreciate you. I need to get the alert set up for this channel. This is the only second live stream I've ever done on this channel. So I need to get the alert set up. I appreciate you. Thank you. Some jealousy out there because he's a billionaire. Can't be bought. Well, he can't be bought. That is true. And the same with Elon. Can't be bought. Can't be paid for. Can't persuade these people in the direction that they're in right now, because you can't bribe them with money. And that pisses a lot of people off. It's like Elon Musk and a lot of these people are hated for their wealth. Because I could tell you right now, if Elon Musk was a Democrat, you wouldn't hear a peep out of the liberal news media. You wouldn't hear anything from Democrat politicians, from liberals, most independents. Shit, you probably wouldn't even really hear it from Republicans all that well, or all that much. If he had a D next to his name, it'd be totally fine. Even if he spoke the way he spoke now, nobody would say anything. But since he backed Donald Trump and he's the richest man in the world, he is hated for no reason. I can't think of a reason why somebody would hate Elon Musk. I can't think of a reason why, other than the fact that he's a Trump supporter and he's a billionaire, and Democrats don't like that. They just don't like it. But if he was a Democrat, you can bet your ass they'd be knocking on his front door, asking for donations. It's not what he says that bothers me, it's his actions. Yeah, I'm more of a, I want to see what you're going to do versus what you say. So if you do one thing and say another, or say one thing and do another, then that says a lot about who you are as a person. I take your word for, if you say you're going to do something, I take your word for it, and I expect you to do it. So when Donald Trump has said all those things about what he was going to do and he actually did it, I mean, how many presidents in the past have actually said something and actually followed through with it and actually did it? I mean, I think Donald Trump takes the cake with keeping the promises to the people when he was running for president to do what I said I was going to do. And I did it. They smear him. They do. Like I said earlier in the stream, I said Donald Trump is hated because he's a Republican. And they didn't like that when he ran for president, because he said he had a lot of friends, and then when he became president, he lost a lot of friends. He's like, I don't have so many friends anymore. I just don't. And he used to. These people need to understand, like, he is not going to be president forever. He's just not. He's just not. And there's the things that upset me the most about Donald Trump right now. There's, again, I don't agree with everything he says or does. That's anybody. I agree with a lot of what he says, but there's some things I'm like, stop. Don't talk about that, because that's not true. For example, me and my wife talk about this. When he says gas prices are at the lowest they are in history, I'm like, not here. Not here, they're not. Gas is still very much over $3 a gallon where I'm at right now. And whenever he says gas is like under $2 a gallon someplace, or like, you know, less than $3 here, that's true to a certain extent, yes. But not where we're at. Prices are not the lowest in history where I'm at, because stuff is very much still expensive. So I don't like it when he says that, because I'm like, that's not true all over the United States. It's only true to certain places. If gas is under $2 a gallon someplace, it's probably because it's in a lower populated area of the country that probably doesn't have a high income as far as like, you know, jobs go. It's probably lower end on the totem pole when it comes to income. So of course things are going to be a little cheaper out there. Like we used to live in Arkansas when Donald Trump, his first term, we used to live in Arkansas. Gas was like $1. It was like $1.45. I've never seen gas that low ever. But at that time where I was in Arkansas, it was low income and there wasn't a lot of people that had a lot of jobs out there. It's very low income. Everything was cheap out there because the income status of the population was very low. People didn't make a lot of money out there. It was very much cornfield USA out there. I will say that. So obviously things are cheap, right? Cheaper than most places. The other thing that I got annoyed with is when he said, the thing about Rob Reiner. I thought that was classless, tasteless, the most crazy shit that Donald Trump's ever said. I thought that was wrong on a lot of different levels. He should have just kept his mouth shut. Everybody knew that Rob Reiner and Donald Trump did not get along. Okay. Everybody knew Rob Reiner was not a Trump supporter. Let's just say that. He's very outspoken about his dissatisfaction with Donald Trump. But the way his life was taken in such a manner that was tragic, you know, nobody deserves that, right? Regardless of what your political beliefs are and whatever your opinion is on something, nobody deserves to die in that way or just be killed, period. In the way that Rob Reiner's life was taken from him and his wife. And when Donald Trump said what he said about that, I was like, you had to say that, didn't you? You just had to say that. Okay. So it's just examples like that I totally disagree with. Okay. Like, you just like, don't say those things because it's not entirely true, or what you said was just fucking stupid and you shouldn't have said anything at all, because it made him look like, and again, Fox News and some of these other pro-Republican outlets did not cover that as much when he said what he said. It's like they didn't really want to touch on that. I'm like, no, talk about it. Because if you want positive change to come out of this man, to be a little bit more presentable to the people, then call him out on his screw ups, right? Because the other side doesn't have any problems with that at all. But when he does make a pretty bad mistake and he says something so harsh that's not right, like, call it out, say something. I don't hate the guy for it. I'm still supporting him. But it just goes to show that I don't agree with everything that man says. I think he says a lot of dumb shit. That's just some of the examples that he says. A little behind here on the chat. My apologies. Democrats have had power for years. I hate it when especially to someone that they can't buy. Yes, they had power for pretty much the entire Biden administration. Democrats were ruling the roost. $1.99 there? Damn. Where are you living? What part of the country do you live in? $3.25 in Oregon? That's kind of about where it's at right here. Like between $3 and $3.20-ish a gallon, $3.15, somewhere around in there. I saw gas for $3.09 today. We saw gas for $3.09. I think that's the cheapest that we've seen so far. Although Costco does have sometimes cheaper gas prices than most other places. It's taxes in your state. Taxes are terrible, aren't they? Trump's first term was $1.89. $1.89 a gallon, but thanks to Biden, everything went up, and now we have to play catch up to fix it. Yeah, gas was dirt cheap under the first Trump administration. And then when he took over, inflation just blew up to like 9.6 or 9.8%. It was so high. In some places it was more than that. It's like some places was like 10, 12% inflation. I remember when it was 33 cents. Say what? 33 cents? What year was that? Like 1965. Democrat states added high gas taxes. I think a lot of people like to say that in Democratic run states or cities, things are usually more expensive than in Republican ran places. Sanctions and war bring higher prices. Alabama gas is in Mississippi $1.98. That's cheap. I don't know. We see $1.98 when we're saving like 40 cents a gallon. That's when we'll ever see gas under $2 a gallon here. You're going to know what kind of person Reiner was. Not on a good guy at all. His kid did it. That says a lot. Yeah, it's looking like allegedly his son committed the crimes there, unfortunately. I think his son had a history of mental illness as well. I don't know the exact details behind his son's past when it comes to his mental health, but I've read that it wasn't good. $1.40 in gas tax going up the first of really? Dang, is Oregon expensive when it comes to gas? And why has New York has highest gas tax? Then the blue cities are even more taxes on. Yeah, New York is insanely expensive. When I think of New York, I think of New York City. Trump has no filter. That is true. He says what he wants to say, regardless if you like it or not. Yes, that's right. It's different because of state taxes. Yep, it just all comes down to location, right? So if you live in California, you're probably screwed when it comes to high gas prices. If you live in New York City, you're probably screwed there too. But it all comes down to location. No one deserves, but after research, Rob was never said anything good about Trump. He's definitely had TDS. He let's just be honest, he hated Donald Trump. You could just tell by his past comments about him. He was definitely not a fan. I'll give you that. They just did not like each other. But you would think that one time where Donald Trump could have swallowed his pride a little bit and said, yeah, what happened was tragic. It should have never happened, even though Rob and I did not see eye to eye when it came to our politics. But nobody deserves that. And, something like that, right? But instead, he let his ego get in the way and he just said whatever the hell he wanted to say. And that was that, right? That was the one time he probably, like I said, he shouldn't have just said anything. He should have just kept it to himself. $2.60 in Michigan? Really? $2.59 at Costco? Yeah, I think gas under, it might, I don't know if it's under $3 a gallon where I'm at Costco. It might be. 9.1 in July of 22. What was, the inflation rate? 9.1%. That was a crazy time, wasn't it? You talk about how shit was expensive then. Jeez. Obama was $5 a gallon. I don't even remember what gas prices was like in 2008 during his first term. Second term, gas was kind of expensive in some places. I do remember that. Booze went way up too because of tariffs. I remember alcohol prices were going up. Both Alabama and Mississippi are red. Yes, they are. Gas, $2.10. Nice. The USA Oil Investments sent me up a letter saying it might be going bankrupt and it would pay more in barrels of oil, not cash. What was that song by Toby Keith? He kept saying, why buy gallon is cheaper by the barrel. but don't get busted singing Christmas carols. I think the song was called American Ride. And there was a saying in the lyrics, why by gallon is cheaper by the barrel. It is probably cheaper by the barrel. Yeah, where are you located for $10? You don't have to give your exact location, but yeah, for $2.10, that's crazy. Texas. I know some parts in Texas I can see it being a little cheaper. Costco is $2.79. Nice. Tyler, Texas, $2.20 a gallon. Whew. $5. Wow, $5 a gallon for gas. I think that would piss anybody off, especially if you drove a diesel truck, like a big rig diesel truck. I'm not talking about like the Ford F350s or F250s that were diesel. I'm talking about like the actual, diesel big rigs that were, like 200 plus gallon fuel tanks that they're filling up. That was probably costing $800-900 every time to refuel, and it was outrageous. I think Mississippi has a little cheaper than everybody at $1.98. I can see gas being cheaper in those states. $1.98 doesn't surprise me. States like Mississippi, maybe some parts of Louisiana, probably some parts of like Tennessee too, Arkansas, maybe Oklahoma, like the Midwest, somewhere around in there. I can see gas being probably the cheapest in that part of the country. A refinery, yeah. The thing about gas out where we're located, it has to be it's like a special mixture that they have to mix the fuel with, because I'm in Arizona and obviously people know that it gets hot out here and during the summertime. That's no secret. So gas is typically more expensive in Arizona and in California and probably parts of Nevada, because it's a special blend of the way they make the gas because of the heat. I still don't understand how that works. That's what makes the gas so expensive out this way, is because of that. So that pisses us off quite a bit. I'm like, do you normally have to do that? I don't know anywhere else of anybody that has to especially mix their fuel for summertime. It's crazy. £3 of onions, $1.27. Yeah, it's additives. That's what it is. It's additives. Yeah, it's pretty intense. Every time we went to fuel up several years ago, when gas was literally like $4.50 a gallon, it was just, we got mad every single time because we were paying like, it was almost $80 to fill up our cars every week and a half, 2 weeks, and it just got so expensive. I was like, I don't know how people can afford to do anything with gas being between $4 and $6 a gallon. I don't know how anybody was able to do it. I don't think anybody did. All racks of seasonal blends. Yeah, but we didn't know that for a while. We're like, man, why is gas so expensive? And then they're like, yeah, we have to mix this stuff every season. And it makes the cost of gas go up because of it. Like, what? So, yeah. You get by in Texas if you cook your own food. I think a lot of people started living a little cheaper, especially during the pandemic and during when we didn't think the country was going to survive and go into a recession at some point. That got brought up a lot over the last couple of years. We're heading into a recession. I think a lot of people just started to learn how to pickle their food, and doomsday preppers were probably on high alert and storing food away and all this stuff. I bet that was pretty high over the last 5 years. I bet that was happening quite a bit. So I think with the doomsday preppers, they're like, am I the crazy one, or are you for not preparing? And that does have some truth to it. Am I the crazy one for being a doomsday prepper and doing all this stuff? Or are you the one that's crazy and not doing anything about it at all? I heard that on a TV show years ago. Like a doomsday prepper. I think the show was called Doomsday Preppers. I think it was on Discovery Channel or something like that. And the guy's like, am I the crazy one or are you? You make your own dog food? It's cheaper. We used to make our own dog food too for one of our dogs we used to have. Because she had allergies. So we used to make her food all the time. Well, not all the time, but there was a time where we would make her food. And I think it is a little bit cheaper. It just depends. If you have a small dog, it's a little easier, a little cheaper. But if you have a larger dog, buying hamburger meat and stuff like that can be kind of expensive. But, and fish and things like that, right? Nice. Nice. Same portion, bought at least $1. Good deal. Yeah, if you can save money in any way that you can, you might as well. You might as well. Yes, mine don't like the store-bought. That's the other thing you have to worry about too, is if you start feeding them dog food that they actually really like because it's homemade and it's got all these raw ingredients that they really, really like, and then you try to give them actual dog food again, they don't want to eat it because they like the homemade stuff over the actual dog food, the kibbles, and you're like, oh, shit. But eventually, if they're hungry enough, they'll eat it, right? So, but it's just hard to get them to go back because they're spoiled now because now you're feeding them good stuff versus the kibbles is not the greatest stuff, right? So obviously. You're right about the big dogs. That is true. Yeah, big dogs eat a lot more food. I know our dog eats a cup of food at a time. Raw diet, your dogs will be happier and healthier. Yep, that's true. You have two Chihuahuas and Havanese. Is that how you say that? Havanese toy size. My dog's a bottomless pit. I mean, our dog can eat all day as well. You put any food in front of him, he'll eat it for the most part. Just don't season the food. Yeah, if you're gonna cook like raw hamburger, just cook it raw chicken, raw fish. Our dog will eat Brussels sprouts, lettuce, potatoes, anything. I think the only thing that he doesn't really like, and I know why, because garlic is very spicy and sensitive on their nose. So anytime, like if he has a hint of garlic in the air or the smell, he doesn't like it. He doesn't come anywhere near it. So he won't, stays away from stuff like that. But like anything else, like Brussels sprouts, blueberries, some strawberries, rice, obviously all the meat, chicken, fish, shrimp, all that stuff, he'll eat it. No problem. He's pretty much a garbage belly. He'll eat whatever you put down in front of him. 150-pound American Bully. Damn. That's a big ass dog. 70? Ours is about 70 pounds too. That's still a very large dog. I hope this next year brings us all joy and plenty of happiness. Y'all have a great night. Hey, the Tiger Nuts. What a very unique name. That's a good name. I appreciate you. You have a good night as well. Thank you for stopping by and hanging out with everybody. Have a safe and happy new year as well. No onions, no grapes. No onions. Yeah, we don't feed him any of that stuff. Blueberries, rice, like nothing seasoned, obviously. But yeah, the raw food diet, if you can swing it, it's definitely better. Beef prices are insane. Looked at a rib chuck roast. It was almost $20. Insane. Can't wait for all that Argentina beef. Yeah, that stuff is not cheap. That's one of the things that really hasn't came down in price is beef. Beef is still very much expensive. Chicken is outrageous. Fish, all that stuff is still expensive. But like raw eggs and stuff like that, like eggs aren't too bad. But like the beef prices, yeah, they're still expensive. Pumpkin coconut oil. Yep. Coconut oil is fantastic. God bless the United States. MAGA! There's just something about that word, man. It makes a lot of people unsettled. It's very triggering to say that. Ladies and gentlemen, I think I'm going to go ahead and call the live stream on this Monday, December 29th. I appreciate all of you guys that came in and had a conversation with me here today. Again, this is our second live stream that I've ever done on the channel. And it's probably the longest live stream I think I've done thus far as well. So we're right at 2 hours. But for those of you that did subscribe to the channel and stuck around and hung out with me, you know exactly who you are. I do appreciate you for doing that. Cheers to you as well. I do appreciate you guys. If you want to see more live streams, comment in the comment section below. If you want to see more, I'll be happy to go live a little bit more often, especially in 2026. We might go ahead and discover that and move forward with the live streams a little bit more. Thanks for streaming. Absolutely. I appreciate you sticking around and hanging out. Hey, yo, America. All right, you guys, have a happy and safe new year, and we will talk to all of you guys soon. Have a good one, guys. Take care.